The Prentice Alsop Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
And this portion of the Coaches Show is brought to you by Parks Auction Company. Let their team of experienced and professionally trained staff utilize the auction process to sell your property. Find out more at parksauction.com. And joining me on the program this morning is Jason Patterson, the head coach of the Central Tigers. And boy, I graduated from Central in the high school, I went 2 years there. And that's how old I am, but I'm saying Central High again, but it's Central Magnet. We'll go that. But it's exciting to have you on the show, and you've got some exciting news about what's happening at Central Magnet.
Yes, sir. It's great to be on with you, and just excited about the direction we're headed in. Is we have played up until this point, our home games, we have played at Starplex, and this year we have been fortunate enough, a lot of hard work, a lot of people just really thankful to a lot of people to get this done, but we will be at Las Casas Elementary School, the field there, and it's kind of a work in progress, and just excited to be there and playing our games there this year.
Now, is that the field that's in front of the school? Is that where you're talking about?
It is.
Okay.
Yes, sir, it is. And we have moved the fences back. New infield. A lot of work kind of continuing and going in that direction, and just it's kind of fun to see it. Each day it looks a little different. Last night we're playing on the road, and I get a picture from the place who's been working on it, and the infield really looked different than it had just leaving it over the weekend.
So when are you all planning to be able to use it?
Our grand opening is going to be March 24th against Marshall County. That's going to be our first opening game there.
It's kind of nice, isn't it, to kind of go, we've got a home place, you know? I mean,
it is.
I mean, that's got to be.
You can say, hey, we're inter-squatting till this time, and you can't be like, oh, man, I got to double-check and make sure there's not something scheduled at the park. It's just,
right.
You kind of make your own schedule, and just kind of, I guess I've got used to it. I've been here for a while, but being other places previously and stuff, you kind of like, okay, I'm going to send this schedule out, and then you kind of forget that, it's not really, you've got to check other places in between. It always kind of worked out from that end of it, but that's just kind of something different from being when you're at someone else's place and kind of at their mercy.
New scoreboard, all the works?
Yes, sir. That's all coming together, and hopefully that'll be there by the 24th as well. But just excited watching it kind of come together.
I really like that location. It's because mainly it's right off the road, really. It's easy to find. I mean, it's just a really good location, and plenty of parking around the school, I guess. It
is. It's plenty of parking, and they have been really awesome to work with, and just looking forward to being there.
And the softball team, they're going to have a new home too, right?
They are, yes, sir.
That's Buchanan, I believe.
They are. The middle school and high school are both there. Both fields will be there.
All right, that's awesome news. And let's talk a little bit about this ball club you've got, because over the years there's been some really good Central Magnet teams come out of there. And I want to take time, because before we lose our time, about some of the starters you've got. Maybe if we start with the pitching staff, that's usually the most important.
Yeah, we've got a really good returning left-handed pitcher in Colin Wind, who has several college offers, 5 or 6 Division I offers, and just trying to decide and make up his final decision. He's a lefty. It's been good for us. He was freshman pitcher of the year as a freshman. He was the district pitcher of the year back then, and was hurt a little bit his sophomore year, and then had a really good year last year, and it's just been great. And he had a huge jump in velocity over the last year, and is getting had a lot of offers early, but have got a lot of late looks from some bigger schools and different places, and it's just he threw a great game on Friday night and has really, really good stuff, and it's kind of been a big part of our staff, and just a great leader, a guy that works really hard. 35 on the ACT, just a terrific student athlete that just competes really hard, works hard in the weight room. Couldn't say enough good stuff about him. He's been last year we ranked in the top 5 in the state for a lot of the season during the year, and he was a big part of that team. So having him back is a big plus.
He's kind of the anchor, isn't he? I mean, that's always good to have a good starting point there, and a lefty.
Yes, and kind of having that guy to go, and kind of, you've got that guy to go once a week, and it's good to have that to kind of build around. Now, in saying that, we've got a lot of potential in the staff from other places, but we did last year. We had a nice ball club, had a good team. We graduated about 8 guys that started a lot during the year, and a lot of the pitching staff as well. So it's been a lot of young guys kind of getting opportunities. Last night we had a couple of freshmen throw at Shelbyville, and really threw well. Gave up 2 runs and 5 innings pitched out of the bullpen last night, and they did a really nice job against a really good Shelbyville team. So it's kind of fun watching some guys kind of improve and get better as we go through this too. But we are replacing a lot of guys this year, so it is a lot of guys getting that taste for the first time. Some have pitched JV, some a little experience in varsity, but now kind of, hey, now it's your turn to go be the guy. And just watching the improvement just from the start of the season, even to now in the preseason games, it's been a lot of fun to watch.
Well, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I know some people move around positions, but kind of tell us who you've got at catcher, and we'll go around the infield.
Yeah, we've got a couple of we've got a sophomore in Truett Serbaugh who's doing a nice job for us catching. We've got a freshman in Brett Haney who's done a nice job catching for us. They've kind of split the time in the first three games in preseason that we've had at this point, and both very good defensive catchers that should be nice for us as we go throughout the year. And again, like I said, with us being kind of as we go across it, we've got a returning shortstop in junior John Roth, who has been really good for us early. He's hit about 500 in the first 3 or 4 games, stolen 5 or 6 bases. Really nice defensive player. He is one of the guys that we've got returning from last year's club that was big for us. He actually played a lot of right field for us last year on the team we had last year. And he's always grown up being a shortstop and kind of played that in the summertime and played that some with us. But we had some veterans kind of there last year, so he ended up, just because he ran well and hit well, he had a good year for us in the outfield and kind of could play anywhere. But kind of this year, as we kind of said, he runs all the pick plays, runs everything. He's kind of our QB1 on the infield of having him back, and just a great leader and a guy that competes real well, and an upperclassman that will be in the lineup for us too, in John Roth.
You got the infield solid. You solid up the middle.
We are with him at short. That's a good start with it. Second base, we've got a guy returning that's been a big-time hitter for us, been an all-district, been an all-region player for us in senior Mitchell Coons. Really can fly on the bases. Stolen 30 bases his sophomore and junior years and back. He had a 7 RBI game on Friday night against Lawson in the 3-hole as he's kind of moved. He's been our leadoff hitter the last couple of years and has kind of slid down in the 3 spot, kind of a different role with guys on base, and he's always had some extra base pop and runs the base as well. And he can play second, and he can play the outfield as he runs well, and he's going to have some chances too next year to continue playing if he wishes. And it's just a electric player that is fun to watch. I'm a big speed guy. I grew up watching the 80s Cardinals with Whitey Herzog and stuff, and he kind of fits those old teams that can, even though he's in the 3-hole, he can lay a bunt down and steal bases and go first to third, and just utilizing the speed that he brings to the table with some pop too, which is nice to have.
Jason Patterson, our guest here on the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner. Let's mention the outfield. I know you got some go-getters out there.
Yes, got some speed out there, as we kind of said early. We've had one of them would be Mitchell, kind of back out there. We've had a young guy in center field at this point, Braylon Dowell, who is a freshman, but at this point has played the first in his first 8 at bats. He had reached base 6 of his first 8, stolen 4 bases, scored 4 runs, and really runs well and is really physical for a young guy in that spot. Has been a nice player for us through this point. Is kind of in that leadoff spot. He's kind of been able to slide in that spot and has been an on base percentage guy for us and really wants to compete. And he's one of the guys that also pitched last night a little bit. That's going to be a really nice pitcher as time goes by too, that I think a lot we'll hear about too. We've got a big, strong, over 6 foot, 6'1", 6'2" right fielder in Tate Morris, who really has a strong arm. Is going to be big for us on the mound as time goes by too, and just real physical. Kind of played infield in the past, and kind of in the preseason, kind of went to the outfield, ran some balls down well in the gap in some inter-squad games, and have kind of slid into that spot early. And has done a nice job there for us in the preseason too.
Before I leave anybody, is there anybody else you want to talk about? Because I don't want to leave anybody out.
Man, we had a guy last night, just as I'm sitting thinking about last night's game at third base, that just had a great game for us that kind of got us going in the Friday night game. We were scoring our first run, laid down a great bunt to get us on the board, and that's Benson Revis, left-handed swinger, a couple of hits last night, driving in a couple of runs, and has played really well defensively, will pitch for us, and has done a really nice job for us. Can get bunts down when needs to. Has played really well defensively for us. That's going to be big for us. John Michael Courtney last night is pitching for us. He did a nice job for us starting. He's played a little bit second base defensively for us at this point too, and has been really good pitching wise. He did not give up a run his first couple of outings. Going into last night, he gave up a couple of runs, but still threw well. Can throw 3 different pitches for strikes, and has done a nice job for us at this point, too. Thomas Sessler, a left-handed hitter, is sitting about 500 on the year at this point. He's been our DH, but just hammering the baseball all over the park right now, really swinging it well, and looks to be big for us. And we've got another big left-handed first baseman, Elijah Bonner, who's a freshman as well, but it's going to be big for us on the mound pitching. Pitched a couple of nice innings last night and doubled over the left fielder's head. Hit the ball a long way, especially for a guy in his first year. That's going to be really, really big for us. And we've got we got a guy, Joseph Rowell, who really runs well. Stole 2 bases last night coming in. He is a sophomore. Right now, pitching wise, threw in the JV game on Friday, but threw a perfect game in the JV game. It's going to be big varsity going forward as well. Too.
That's amazing. You are young, aren't you? I mean,
we are. We're very young. Certain days, lineup-wise, I think one of the days we had 4 freshmen in the lineup, 2 sophomores, and one of the preseason games there, we were still kind of getting basketball guys back and other stuff at that point. But just looking out on the field, it was kind of big. There was one last night. The Shelbyville's got the sophomore kid that's really, I believe on Perfect Game, is the highest-rated player in the state, and he lines one to right field, and the right fielder goes and makes a really nice play. Sophomore Tate Morris, who turns and throws a shot line just cannon throw to first base freshman for a double play. And we're just talking about, the youth kind of there and the guy on the mound kind of that age and stuff. But I do think we have a nice mix. We've got some older guys too that like I said, that are going to be really good for us from that end of it. And I think a nice mix as the year goes and I think we can be really good when we get to the postseason.
Well, you guys, and last question here, you guys have a history of being really solid every year. I mean, it's just very rare do you have a year that, you feel like you maybe didn't quite get there. But, boy, for the most part, your history is really strong at Central Magnet. Can you explain what that is, or is it in the water or what?
Well, I think one thing that we try to do is try to be good defensively, try to be able to run the bases well, and try to be able to bunt and find ways to score runs. Because typically, good pitching is going to get guys out just swinging the bat and if you just try to stay conventional. So we try to find ways to utilize what we've got and kind of maximize being able to score from that end, and then just not give up a lot of freebies from that end of it. And that's something that probably we may have some early just with the youth and kind of a little bit of the inexperience, but just seeing over this first 3 or 4 weeks of how much that's even changing at this point, and just what will be kind of like we told the freshmen after these first couple of weeks, then you're kind of not freshmen anymore. You're not, or guys that have not played a lot of varsity. Once you get out there and you kind of start learning kind of what we do system-wise and doing a nice job of it, you should be able to compete. If you don't give up if you don't lose the baseball game, the other team a lot of times will find a way to do it. So you're trying to find ways to just get outs when you have opportunities, not walk a lot of guys, and find guys that throw strikes. And just really from my standpoint, what I've always valued from when you're trying to put a lineup together, can you play defense? Can you put balls in play? Can you bunt? Can you run a little? Because if you do those 2 things, even if we're facing somebody pretty good, or if you've got somebody on the mound that you're facing that is a highly rated guy or a guy that's tough to score against, if you can bunt some, if you can run, and you maximize opportunities when you get guys on base of being aggressive and being able to steal and run and kind of do those things, it gives you a chance to win games. And sometimes you look up at the scoreboard at the end and it's like, man, we got after a guy that was pretty good that day.
Baseball's an instinctive game. It's you can play that game with youth, because they played since they were in diapers basically, and most of those kids, and it doesn't, I don't think it factors in quite as much as some of the other sports.
No, for sure. No, they're ready to go, and they're ready to get after it, and they want to compete. And the one thing about this year, I think, from that end of it, when a lot of times you have a year like last year when we were really good, really probably got beat in the postseason earlier than would have liked to from that end of it of where we were ranked during the year. We just ran into a really good guy with Franklin County that kind of we lost a game in the seventh inning elimination day that you'd love to have back, but just a great team and a team that did a lot during the regular season, and then you lose 8 starters off of that, and you think, man, this year is going to be a different kind of season, and then you get here and you see all the youth and the work that they're putting into it, and I'll be honest, coming to the park every day, this has been incredibly fun group to be around and just watching them get better every day. And you show up out here, we're talking about being at Las Casas, and you kind of show up there and you're sitting there getting ready for practice, one of the weekend practices we had, and I'm there about an hour and 30 minutes before practice, and all of a sudden a sophomore rolls in, and then here's like 3 freshmen roll in about an hour and 10 minutes before practice, and you get all these young guys showing up super, super early just to try to get extra work in and do stuff. And those are the kind of things that it kind of gets infectious. If you get guys like that wanting to get better and wanting to compete, and you've got guys in the dugout just trying to get better every day, and that's all you can ask for. Us go out and just kind of continue to get better and kind of continue to compete, and I'm just super excited about where this club can be at the end of the season.
Well, it's been awesome talking to you, Jason. Good luck this year and to the Central Magnet Tigers. And I'm a Braves guy. I'm a Braves fan. And the only mess up you made was when you were starting to talk about the Cardinals. But hey, I understand.
That 82.
They were a good team in 82. That's for sure, buddy. I'll take them.
A bunch of times during the postseason for sure. But we're kind of in a little different thing right now for the first time in my life. It's kind of a different vibe in St. Louis right now, but we'll see what happens going forward. So.
Well, that wasn't Willie.
We helped you out with Terry Pendleton now.
That's right. And Willie McGee was pretty good too. I think too.
Yeah.
So
yes, but we didn't say you didn't. He didn't ever end up with the Braves though. But Pendleton helped you out a lot now.
Oh, so. Pendleton, that was a good move. Yeah. All right, Jason. Good luck to you, and it's a pleasure talking to you. And we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. That's Jason Patterson, the head coach of the Central Magnet Tigers. And we'll be back with more. But first, I want to tell you, this is the portion of this show has been brought to you by J. Mullins Jewelry, a family-owned and operated business treating clients like family since 1938. Jewelry design, repair, and a wide selection of great jewelry pieces. Online at mullinsjewelry.com.